There was a very secret meeting in Tel Aviv between some powerful music industry executives and an entertainment manager that had ties to Michael Jackson and his family. In this meeting, they were concocting a plan to destroy Michael Jackson and force him to give up some very powerful assets that they wanted to own all for themselves.
As I've said on so many occasions, Michael Jackson was a business genius. Art, he was a genius. He wasn't just a musical genius. Michael Jackson mastered all aspects of the music industry. Remember when Eminem dissed him and he bought Eminem's catalog? Michael Jackson bought Eminem's catalog when he dissed him. Mike was gangster, and Mike was murdered because when Michael Jackson purchased the Beatles catalog, that automatically made him 50% owner of Sony Records. Art. Sony Records never forgave Michael Jackson for buying the Beatles catalog. They wanted the Beatles catalog back. So what did they do? They sabotaged Michael Jackson's last album, Invincible, which automatically put Michael Jackson into debt. They wanted Michael Jackson to satisfy his debt by giving up the Beatles catalog. And Michael said, no, I'm going to go on tour. Everybody wants to see me again. I'm going to go on tour, make this money, pay all off. And Michael Jackson made a mistake. He came back to LA to practice at the Staples Center, where another assassinated black celebrity, Kobe Bryant, used to play. And they murdered Michael Jackson. And that black doctor was made the fall guy. He only went to jail for a couple years. He's out now, I believe, and he's going to live happily ever after for keeping his mouth shut about how the music industry murdered Michael Jackson. And also keep in mind, Art, Michael Jackson was brought up on pedophilia charges as soon as he entered a bid to buy Marvel Comics. Michael Jackson was going to be the owner of Marvel Comics. Imagine if Michael Jackson would have produced a Black Panther movie. Imagine if Michael Jackson would have produced the Black Panther movie. The white power structure of America didn't want Michael Jackson owning Marvel Comics, so they set it up for him to be accused of sexual molestation. And remember, one of the white boys who he was accused of touching went on one of them talk shows, what was about 3 years ago? And what did he say? Michael Jackson never touched us.
A lot of people don't understand how deep these Michael Jackson accusations go. Like when they first came out with these accusations, they didn't have enough support to throw Michael Jackson under the bus. They didn't have enough support to turn people against Michael Jackson and to go after Michael publicly. They were able to get the world to turn on Michael Jackson in hopes of getting Michael Jackson to finally sell and relinquish his assets with the help of Jack Gordon. Now, Jack Gordon was an ex-felon turned entertainment manager who had ties to the Israeli mafia. He had ties to organized crime. Now, he was LaToya Jackson's, Michael Jackson's sister's manager for some time before ultimately marrying her. Michael's entire family stood in solidarity for Michael's innocence, including LaToya. They were adamant that Michael was innocent. People were trying to frame him. And for the most part, the public believed that Michael Jackson was innocent. That's until they got LaToya to flip. Jack Gordon got LaToya to flip. You see, Jack Gordon took LaToya to Israel, to Tel Aviv for a business meeting. Before she went to Israel, LaToya Jackson was doing public interviews saying her brother was innocent. They went to Israel for a business meeting. On that trip, an impromptu press conference was scheduled. LaToya Jackson, for the first time during that press conference, said that Michael Jackson was guilty. She's seen Michael Jackson do harm to kids. She knows Michael Jackson has a problem, and Michael Jackson is 100% guilty of everything he's being accused of.
I must tell you that this is very difficult for me.
That Michael is my brother. I love him a great deal, but I cannot and I will not be a silent collaborator of his crimes against small innocent children. And if I remain silent, then that means that I feel the guilt and the humiliation that these children are feeling, and I think it's very wrong. I have seen checks payable to the parents of these children. And I don't know if these children were apparently bought to the parents by Michael or not. But I have seen these checks. And I've seen these checks through my mother. She's shown me these checks that Michael had written to these children, and it's for a great amount. And I'm not speaking pennies. The sums are a very, very large amount. And this is my first time talking about it, and I never want to speak about it. I never want to say anything about it. But I think it's sad because I am a victim myself, and I know what it feels like. And these kids are going to be scarred for the rest of their life, and I don't want to see any more innocent small children being affected this way. I love Michael very dearly, but I feel even more sorry for these children because they don't have a life anymore. They don't. And you think for 1 second, and you tell me, what 35-year-old man is going to take a little boy and stay with him for 30 days? And take another boy and stay with him for 5 days in a room and never leave the room. How many would take little kids and do that are 9, 10, 11 years old?
Before that trip, she was 100% adamant her brother was innocent, lockstep with her family. During that trip, her story changed and all of a sudden her brother did everything they were accusing him of. So what exactly changed? Because that press conference wasn't scheduled before she got there. It got scheduled during that trip. It was impromptu. So apparently Sony ATV and some powerful industry execs met with Jack Gordon. And they told Jack Gordon what needed to be done, right? They paid him to get LaToya Jackson to flip on Michael Jackson. Jack Gordon took the payment. Now we found out afterwards but Jack Gordon told LaToya she had no choice, right? She either is going to get beaten and murdered, or else she's going to come and do this press conference and say what she has to say about Michael Jackson, in which she did, right? Yo, Jack Gordon was not a guy to be played with. Jack Gordon was a career criminal. And Jack Gordon was not just engaging in petty crime. No, in 1979, Jack Gordon tried to bribe the commission of like the Nevada games, right, to allow him to add like 2 new games to the casino. So he would try to bribe the dude for like $12,000. The dude said, okay, cool. Come, let's do a meeting, bring the $12,000. So they recorded everything. The minute Jack Gordon pulled out the $12,000, the FBI stepped in and Jack Gordon got arrested. He did like 6 months in prison. 2 years later, in 1981, the Nevada commissioner, his wife had a bomb placed on her car and her car blew up while the car was parked. It's rumored that Jack Gordon did that. This dude was nobody to play with. He had ties to organized crime. So now eventually LaToya Jackson was able to get away and tell the truth. And she said that Jack Gordon is who put her up to lie on Michael Jackson. And for some reason, she don't know why, she can't put her hands on it, why Jack Gordon hated Michael Jackson so much. It's because Jack Gordon was in bed with industry execs.
Such an abusive relationship. The things that went on that the world had no clue that was going on. And he promised me if I tried to escape or get away or didn't do what he wanted or asked me to do, that he would kill me. And he was very adamant about it. I knew that that's exactly what he would do. So I figured if I can escape this and get away, then other people can do it too, because you're in a situation where you feel that you cannot get away from that. And I don't know what it is, but I think they get to your self-esteem.
You accuse Michael of being a...
Yes.
But I cannot and I will not be a silent collaborator of his crimes.
Gordon gave me this piece of paper and he says, read this. He goes, you better say this, you say this.
Jack Gordon forced you to say that your brother was a... Did you think he was?
No, I did not. The courts have proven that too as well.
Why did Jack Gordon want you to say that your brother was a...
He had this hatred towards my brother that I can never explain to you why it was.
Just to make things very clear, you recanted your accusation. Are you sure today that your brother never had any undue relationship with a child?
Barbara, Michael is not. He is not.
He is not a...
No, he's not.
I chuckle when these internet creators and influencers come online and say the Matrix is after me. Oh, the powers that be is after me. Oh, they're trying to silence me. They don't know what silencing and coming after you mean. They don't know what it means when a Matrix is after you. There's usually 3 things that happen, okay? They tell lies on you. They defame you. And if that don't work, they try to imprison you. And if that don't work, they kill you. That meeting was the first structural meeting to where, okay, bruh, Michael Jackson is a problem, right? He's gaining a lot of assets. He owns a lot. One man can't be this powerful. He needs to go. And that was the first structural meeting to where they had a plan in place. Man, have his sister come out, man. She just told you, this man pulled out a sheet for me to read. It was an impromptu conference I didn't even know was taking place. He told me if I don't do that, I'm a goner. I'm out of here. What would make a man want to murder his wife, man? Because the people he was in bed with weren't playing, bruh. Yo, they needed this done. And they needed it done so severely, this man was willing to off his own wife if she don't say those things about Michael Jackson. Now, LaToya is it's the closest person we know even to that meeting. And whenever she's asked about Michael Jackson's death, you know what she says? She believes Michael Jackson was murdered. She don't believe this was accidental. No, she believes he was murdered.
I knew Michael was surrounded by people that positioned themselves in his life, positioned themselves to control and take advantage of him. And that's what bothered me more than anything else, because I knew something terrible would happen at the end, not to mention the fact that Michael constantly told me, Latoya, if I die, they're going to murder me, they're going to kill me. He would tell me that, Barbara. When I found out he had actually passed, I said, no, it wasn't an accident. He was murdered.
Your brother was murdered.
I always believed that from day one, when I found out that he was no longer with us. I said, I'm not going to accept anything else, Barbara. They could have told me a heart attack. They could have told me he had fallen off a ladder, and I would have said, no, it's not a heart attack. He was murdered. Did he fall off a ladder? No, he was murdered.
Who murdered your brother?
I don't know exactly who. I think there are more players involved than we know. This is just my opinion. This is what I feel. I know what Michael was afraid of. I know that when you're in a position...
What was he afraid of?
He was afraid of his life. He would say, I'm afraid of my life. I'm afraid they're going to assassinate me. I'm afraid they're going to kill me. He would always say that, Barbara.
And the crazy part about this, they succeeded. They won. Because after Michael Jackson died, they bought Michael Jackson's half of Sony ATV for $750 million. Now it's just Sony Music Publishing. So if they wrote that man a $750 million check while he was in debt, while they had no leverage, while they had to settle for whatever they can get, what do you think that was worth when Michael Jackson was alive? If they wrote that man a petty $750 million check while he was in debt, while he had no leverage, while he had to take the money, while his estate had to take the money because they needed to figure something out, imagine what it was worth when he was alive. Imagine what Michael Jackson was sitting on. Because Michael Jackson could have sold this for $1 billion when he was alive, but Michael said no. Imagine what something is worth when you're turning down $1 billion for. Imagine what it's worth when you say, yo, I could get $1 billion tomorrow. Michael was in debt while he was alive as well, right? Michael was in debt. He could have squashed that debt like this if he would have sold for $1 billion. He said, no, I'll just go on tour. Right? I'll just go on tour and make money and pay off my debt. I'm not about to, no, hell, I'm not selling this, even for $1 billion. That's crazy, man. Now, somebody was arrested for the death of Michael Jackson. The doctor, obviously, for administering and giving Michael Jackson certain things. But even LaToya believes that, Dr. Donald Murray, that he might have been in on the plot the entire time as well, because he was moving hella suspicious when Michael Jackson died.
Administered by this man. Did Dr. Conrad Murray murder your brother?
Barbara, something went wrong.
It has been reported that Michael's eldest son, Prince, was summoned by Dr. Murray to help resuscitate Michael, Prince's own father. That must have been a terrible experience for him. Is it true?
Yes, he did call Prince. He watched him do this, Barbara, and you don't do that to a child. You don't do that to a child, especially when you knew, prior to asking that child to come up, that Michael was no longer alive.
You feel that Michael was dead long before he went to the hospital?
Oh, yes.
LaToya, you signed the death certificate.
Yes, I did. The doctor wouldn't sign it.
Dr. Conrad Murray would not sign the death certificate?
No.
Did you find that strange?
Everyone did.
From the very beginning, LaToya has said that Michael Jackson was murdered.
It's murder. I think someone did it. That's my opinion.
But it wasn't until 2 weeks ago that the Los Angeles County coroner backed up her claim, ruling the death a homicide, although not necessarily premeditated murder. Do you blame Dr. Murray?
Barbara, I blame any and everybody who was instrumental in Michael's life, providing him with drugs, because it was wrong.
Your brother was a wonderful and sweet person, you say.